I think, in China, they do things very thoroughly. They take their time. They look at all the options available. They discuss with their Western counterparts, and they do it very methodically. At each step, one step at a time. Not recently, about a year and a half ago, they started the Shanghai Gold Free Trade Zone. We were part of it, and I think we did the first trade in the free trade zone, and business has been growing steadily. So I don't think it took a long time. It's one step at a time, but the right steps.
Interesting. Can you help to explain to us the difference between a reference member and a fixing member?
Okay, fixing members are members who are allowed to import gold into China. So it can be any of the 19 banks. There are 18 banks and one refiner that are allowed by PBOC to import gold in China. So you need to be local to import, to be a fixing member. To be a reference member are members who, like us, are part of the future exchange, but the international free trade zone. We give our pricing, the reference pricing, but in order to buy and sell, we need to pass through one of the fixing members.
Gotcha. Okay, so the role for companies like your own, MKS, you're price setters, and I guess the whole idea is to trying to attract more foreign interest, foreign participation, foreign money?
Exactly. I think China is already, as you mentioned, it's the biggest gold producer, the first or second consuming country with India, depending on the year, and it has a population of 1.2 billion and gold consumption growing. So to have a benchmark price in renminbi, remember the London benchmark is priced in dollar, it's in a different time zone. So I'm sure it will help both the consumer and the producer in this part of the world.
Okay, so it's going to be a while before you really give places like London and New York, which are very dominant in gold, sort of a run for their money. But okay, it's a start for Shanghai. But the timing of it, I'm interested here. If and when the Chinese currency, the renminbi, becomes fully convertible, that's a whole different story. I mean, what sort of sense do you get? Since they're doing this on the SGE, the Shanghai Gold Exchange now, what does that mean about the timetable or time frame for full convertibility of the renminbi? Does that mean it's moved forward?
I'm not sure, and I'm not privy to any information that would lead one way or another. But I think what's important to say is that they do, as I mentioned previously, they're doing things in step, already by permitting companies which are not based in China to be able to trade on their exchange, but we trade it in CNH, not in CNY. So I think it's one step at a time, and ultimately, surely, I see them, uniting the CNH and CNY, and then it'll be fully convertible, and then most probably, then it'll be easier to import gold into China.
So, Marwan, I have to ask you, it wasn't that long ago, just a couple of months ago, start of the year, January, you had China warning foreign banks to curb their operations in the China domestic market if they refuse to take part in the benchmark setting process. This is for gold we're referring to here. I mean, China has had a hard time trying to get foreign banks to sign up for this because of sensitivity around benchmarks and also scrutiny by regulators. For yourself, for MKS, what has your experience been?
I think, all banks would die to be part of it. And, all banks would love to have permission to import gold into China. So it goes with the deal. And I don't think they, what's the problem, as you mentioned, is the people are worried about price fixing mechanism. And some of the foreign banks that have been given, that are permitted to import gold into China have refused, mainly because of the compliance department of these banks. The banks themselves would love to be part of it.